reasons.
Surprise,
kind of
surprise.
surprising, actually, who it's coming from. So let's check this out.
Dating as a non-conservative Christian woman is so disheartening. I have had a hard boundary for years. I have never dated anyone that doesn't at least like proclaim to be Christian or say that they're Christian. And, you know, I try to look at like the fruits of their life and like, do they go to church? And it's just been so disheartening because I feel like, if anything, I'm getting pursued more by non-Christian men. And they're the ones doing the pursuing and respecting my religion and respecting my boundaries. It's been the Christian men that have asked me to come over at 2 a.m. or send me unsolicited pictures that I don't want. And it's very like disheartening and confusing when you share more morals with non-Christian men and you feel like they respect you more and respect your body more. Is so just like mind flipping and confusing.
How many times did we
Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, Hashem, YAHAWASHI, Hashem, Rakwak Wadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, shalom to mighty Akim, Walakwafim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this power captivity, as well as a speckled bird that may look like the other nation, but actually Yasharallah. This is where the Kabul Cup coming at you with no lesson. Bear with me because I'm not going to lie, I kind of forgot what I was about to say at the start of this, although I do know what lesson I want to say for the most part, but there was an initial thing I was trying to get at. So as I go through these scriptures, Yahweh does the rest comes to me. Anyway, so to start off with what I do remember, I thought this was kind of interesting and very funny because, you know, this is the general consensus in terms of how I kind of want to say morality, if that's the appropriate term in this context, is that women or Christian women are all about, I don't know, liberal stuff and not necessarily the conservative stuff. And the thing about that is, again, it goes back into the whole. Well, no, actually, that's kind of false. But what I do know for a fact is that nowadays, like, there was a poll somewhere that I read where men are more leaning towards conservatism and women are more leaning towards liberalism. And this is in general not necessarily Christianity. And the thing about that is that it has created certain expectations from people, which one of these expectations is that, you know, all the things that this
actually see something
that this woman was basically talking about, how she was expecting, you know, I don't know, liberal type mindset or liberal type philosophies from the men that from the Christian men that she deals with, but instead she experiences that from the non-Christian men. All right. And the thing about this is that it's not even, this is kind of to be expected. And they do kind of go into it. They do say some things that I kind of, the guy says some things that I actually do agree with. But I also want to say, I'm not going to let it play. You can check it out yourself. But basically, one of the things I do agree with him is that there is no outlet. All right. And basically what they do, she said it, she also added to it as well, basically saying that in this whole, you have to stay chaste, you have to stay pure until you're an adult or whatever. The problem with that is that you have these hormonal teenagers that get to whatever age that they start having sex. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't really care. Not for me. Not involving me. But basically, they get to a certain age. But I say not involving me as in, like, this is irrelevant information to me. But for the sake of the conversation, it is relevant. But basically, the thing is that what was I saying? It was basically that it was basically that you have these teenagers that want to engage in this stuff, and as she said, because they get to that point where they don't have an outlet, because the only way that you're allowed to have this outlet is because is only if you get married, and then literally everything else is bad and whatnot, because that's what they're taught. Then it just gets to a point where, like, okay, well, then they lack the self-control, and then they go and do something, as is what she said. Again, this is not my words. This is what she had basically said. She basically said that, well, a lot of scandals happen because, oh, well, this kid doesn't, or not kid, but this boy, this girl, this whatever, didn't have the outlet because they were just locked into whatever X, Y, and Z was, whatever is in the thing. Like they don't have access to some way to release that tension, and as a result of that, that's where you got this major issue, this major problem of, you know, certain scandals and stuff like that. And, you know, the thing is that this is a bit controversial, and I kind of don't want to really talk about it. This is why I said irrelevant to me, because I don't really want to. I do talk about it sometimes, but ultimately I don't really like to talk about it, not because I'm afraid of saying the truth, all right? Not because I'm afraid of telling the truth, but because it's just something that I'm personally not comfortable with. But in the event that I needed to do it, then I would do it. Like, I would definitely unapologetically speak, or whatever I had to speak. All right. But right now, again, as I said before, in terms of the relevancy to it, I'm not going to really go too much into it. But basically, the thing is that the problem is that, again, they said that they don't have any outlets, but the thing about that is that you have these I don't know what the term is. It's like you have these leaders, all right, that's telling these kids, these youngins, how to live their lives, and these youngins, they get these urges, and then they end up, you know, going through the bad route or whatever, or some sort of route, in order to find it rather than, you know, a healthy thing. And those scandals is what the results of it tends to be. In addition to that, again, you have these conservative Christian men that are like, okay, well, there are like certain things, as is what you guys heard from this woman in the middle. She was basically saying how they would just expect the women to just go along with whatever and stuff like that. And, you know, in all honesty, you know, that's basically the I don't know, the rundown of it is just like that's what their expectations are. But, you know, the main thing, Slocky, about this is such a tippy toe fucking type of topic, all right? Because obviously not everyone's going to be comfortable talking about this, but, you know, sometimes it has to be talked about, which is why I'm doing this, all right? But the main thing is just how my main point is just how there is a certain expectation, and the expectation is subverted. Is subverted because you have these two separate beliefs and philosophies. You have conservative Christians and you have liberal Christians, where liberal Christians, they think that you don't need to do anything, or the Lord doesn't have any expectations for them, whereas the conservative Christians, they kind of do think that way, or better yet, more specifically, it's kind of like they pick and choose what they want to believe in, or what they want to uphold. That's really the best way to describe it, where they don't have any. They don't. Their morals are based off of what's convenient for them. All right. Which actually, let's get that over here in Revelation chapter 2, verse 15. So hast thou also them that hold the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, which thing I hate. Which, if you go look up the Nicolaitans, which I'm going to do right now. Okay, the Nicolaitans were an early Christian sect condemned in the book of Revelation for advocating spiritual compromise and libertine behavior. They taught that Christians were free from the moral law, allegedly encouraging participation in pagan idolatry and sexual immorality. Basically, to summarize it, their whole thing, which you can go check it up over here, it was basically like, well, because of grace, let me see if I can find that term. Well, because of grace, they said, because we're under grace, we don't need to worry about any type of obligation. I think it's Romans 3. Romans 8. Grace. It's Romans 6, damn it. Romans 6, verse 1. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? Verse 2. Yahweh forbid, how shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Basically, the lesson here is that just because you are under grace doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. You still have to do the best you can to kind of follow in the teachings of YAHAWAH, which is what, Christians don't do. They don't care about following what the Lord told them, which is the result of, funnily enough, the liberal and conservative Christians, or Christianity in general. It's not even, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said liberal and conservative, because it's both of them. All right, it's all forms of Christianity that doesn't, keep the law. All right, and that's really the main thing where Yahawadah, he did not say, you can do whatever you want. You can like the same way that people say not to sleep with someone else's wife or husband or something like that. Don't go doing X, Y, and Z or some whatever. All that stuff, all these morals that people hold through now. Don't steal like that, for example. The same way you don't do that. Why would you? How are you going to pick and choose what is okay and what's not okay to do? All right, when it should just be everything is not okay to do. Everything that the YAHAWASHI said not to do is not okay to do. That should be the end of it. That's how it is. All right. Anyway, continuing on. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Which this is the thing here where you have this now abandonment of what is right, or abandonment of their people. They don't care about following their people and following their philosophies and beliefs because it's not convenient for them. All right, so now this is the end result of it, where they don't want to follow Christianity. They want to follow their own version of Christianity, which she even says it here 6 minutes in.
Single Sunday about the sermon, and it wasn't like a healthy
I can't fucking hear.
Debate between it was, this is what I agree with or believe as the man, and you as the woman have to just take it. And as someone who doesn't think that that's the case within religion and my religion, it's very...
So that's the thing here. And this is a terminology that these people always like to use. They like to say my truth, my religion, my this, my that, rather than what is the truth. What did Yahawadah say? What does the Bible say objectively? And that should be the end all be all that we follow, and that nothing else should be discussed besides that. All right, like there shouldn't be a discussion or any types of talk about is this okay? Is this not okay? And stuff like that. It should just be, this is what YAHAWAH said, and then we're going to go by what YAHAWAH said. But because that is inconvenient to her, them, whomever, then they want to pick and choose what they want to believe. So then they create my religion because this is what I believe, this is my beliefs, this is my thing. All right. In addition to that, I also want to point out 2 Ezra 14 verse 17, for look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. And this is the thing here where well, I will say, yes, there have been some more Christian men that are kind of attempting, keyword attempting, to fight against the whole effeminization of what men are supposed to be. So there are, I think, like I don't really know, I don't really keep up with them, but there was Gideon and was that other dude, not Andrew Tate and what's that other white boy's streaming name? Fuck. Alright, whatever. It doesn't matter. But you basically get the point. There's just a lot more Christian dudes that are, getting backbones and, trying to say, I'm trying to be a Babylonian male role model that men should follow and so like that. Oh, fresh and fit and stuff like that. Kind of not really. I don't really think that they really care about Christianity. Like one of them is a Christian, one of them is a Muslim, but then they don't really follow. They don't really openly follow with it. I think they just like do whatever they want, which again, that's not manly. That's not what a man of. Well, yeah, they're not men of the Lord, so naturally they're just gonna do whatever they want. All right. Anyway, Mark 3 verse 24. If a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And this is another thing where the Christian church is already divided, and this is a demonstration of that. Where again, you have the whole, the women are not conservatives, the women are liberals, the men are conservatives. So you have this thing divide where you have a bunch of Christians that just don't want to get together and stay united. They're not going to be united because, as a matter of fact, let's get that as well. 3 and 6, I believe. Oh, 3 and 3. Amos 3 and 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? So how are you going to be a Christian? How are you going to say that, I have this congregation, I have my own congregation, but your congregation doesn't believe in everything you believe. You pick and choose what you want to believe, and then your congregation might say, you can't believe that, you can't follow this, you can't do this, that, and third, but you don't care because it's inconvenient to you in the way that you want to live rather than how you should live. All right, which again, that goes back into the whole thing, let's go back into the whole liberalism thing. Isaiah 32 verse 5, the vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. And that's the thing here where you have these vile people, and that's really what liberalism is. Liberalism where, and I literally cannot say what I want to say because this video will get taken down. But that's the thing here where the liberal person, all right, they allow so much. They allow anything and everything. They don't care about discipline. They don't care about what YAHAWAH said. We don't care what the book says. So as a result of that, they are following through with Babylonian customs rather than YAHAWAH's customs. And then it's just like, okay, well, you have this whole evil and wickedness that you're following rather than what YAHAWAH wants. So you're not trying to serve YAHAWAH, you're trying to serve yourself, because this is more convenient for you. When someone says you have no expectation, I don't have any expectations for you, I love you no matter what, and they want to accept that version of God, all right, which that that version of Yahawashi does not exist. Verse 6, Isaiah chapter 32, verse 6, for the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fall. All right. So yeah, that's basically the thing where they are pushing evil. All right. Isaiah chapter 8 verse 20, to allow to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, is because there is no light in them. And that's the thing here where, as I said before, she said that this was her religion. She used the term my religion rather than the Christian belief or Christianity or the blanket term. It's not what it's supposed to be. It's something else transformed to what she wants it to be, and what makes her comfortable rather than what is objectively so. All right. But also at the same time, I will say that nothing, how things are set up in this society, it's just evil. All right. So naturally, people are going to want to be fearful. But when Yahawashi returns, then he's going to establish things in order and all properly. All right. So with that, prayer, this was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah Hashem, Yahawashi Hashem, Rakwakwadash, double honor to the elders and apostles, the great most son of Yahawadah, and Shalom.